Christmas Eve used to smell like cinnamon, roasted turkey, and polished wood. For years, that scent alone was enough to make my stomach tighten. The year I was 19, 22 relatives crowded into my parents' living room. My younger sister, Lily, had just been accepted to Yale. She deserved every congratulation she received. She had studied harder than anyone I knew. Dad stood beside the fireplace holding her acceptance letter as though it were a trophy. He read it aloud, every scholarship, every achievement, every line that made the room erupt into applause. Lily looked embarrassed more than proud. She kept glancing toward me, but I smiled anyway. I meant it. Then Dad reached beneath the stack of papers. "I've got something else." He held up my community college transcript. I hadn't even known he had a copy. "This," he said, lifting it higher, "is what failure looks like." The room became painfully quiet. Nobody laughed. Nobody defended me. Silence has weight. That night, it settled onto every shoulder in the room except my father's. I stood up. My mother looked down at her plate. An uncle cleared his throat. Lily whispered my name. I walked out before anyone could mistake my tears for permission to continue. The next morning, I changed my phone number, not because I hated them, because I couldn't hear my own voice while everyone else kept telling me who I was. The first year was lonely. Community college wasn't glamorous. But it gave me something Yale never could have given me because it wasn't about this school. It was about rebuilding a version of myself that wasn't waiting for applause. I transferred, finished my degree, worked nights, accepted jobs nobody else wanted, and slowly built a career managing educational technology projects for nonprofit colleges. Ironically, I spent my days helping students who believed they had missed their chance. I always told them the same thing. The path isn't the person. I never knew I was speaking to my younger self 6 years past. I ignored birthdays, skipped holidays, built friendships that felt more like family than anything I had left behind. Then one rainy afternoon, someone knocked on my apartment door. When I opened it, Lily stood there. She looked older. Not because of wrinkles. Because regret changes people in ways mirrors don't show. "I've been looking for you," she said quietly. Neither of us moved. Finally, I stepped aside. She entered carrying a worn document tube. For nearly an hour we spoke around the real subject: work, apartments, coffee, traffic, anything except Christmas. Then she placed the tube on my table. "I need you to see something." Inside was her Yale diploma, ripped cleanly in half. My eyes widened. "I didn't do that," I said immediately. "I know." She smiled sadly. "I did." She explained that she'd kept it on her office wall for years, believing it proved she was finally enough for Dad. It never did. Every promotion only led to another comparison, another impossible expectation, another reminder that love inside our family had always sounded conditional. The diploma had stopped representing education. It had become a certificate that she had learned to measure human worth. One evening, after another phone call where Dad criticized someone else for not being successful enough, she'd taken the frame down and torn it in two. Not because she hated Yale, because she hated what it had come to represent. "I realized," she whispered, "he wasn't holding up my acceptance letter that Christmas." She looked at me. "He was holding you down." Neither of us spoke for a long time. Some truths need silence more than answers. Months later, we agreed to attend a legal mediation concerning our late mother's estate. There had been unresolved paperwork for years, and neither of us wanted another shouting match. Dad arrived confident. Within minutes, he began interrupting, rewriting memories, insisting I had abandoned the family for selfish reasons. The mediator raised a hand. "Mr. Carter." His voice wasn't loud, it didn't need to be. "Everyone will be allowed to speak without interruption. If you continue speaking over others, this session will stop, and your statements won't be entered into the official record." For the first time in my life, someone with clear authority didn't mistake confidence for correctness. Dad leaned back. He said nothing. The silence that followed felt completely different from the one 6 years earlier. This one protected instead of punished. When my turn came, I didn't recount every insult. I simply described what happened that Christmas Eve and why I left. No performance, no revenge, just facts. The mediator thanked me and moved to the next item. That simple acknowledgement mattered more than I expected. Outside the building, Lily handed me both halves of her diploma. I don't want to throw it away, she said, but I don't want it to mean what it used to. We found a local framing shop that specialized in document restoration. Instead of hiding the tear, the conservator suggested preserving it. The repaired diploma still showed the faint line running through its center. Lily accepted that immediately. "So will I?" she said. Healing wasn't pretending nothing had happened. It was refusing to let the break become the whole story. I never asked Dad for an apology again. He never offered one. Some endings stay incomplete. Lily and I still spend Christmas together now. We cook too much food. We laugh more easily. Sometimes we sit quietly without filling every pause. Neither of us forgets that night. We simply stopped allowing it to decide who we would become.